Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunday Sessions. It's me, Big Hassan, your local kebab shop boy. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunday Sessions. It's me, Hass. Today, it's raining, we've pitched a tent, it's cold. You might catch me put my hood on whilst cooking because it's freezing out. But we're making a little kofte sandwich, right? I had a kofte sandwich in a little van in the ends, Hertford Road, N9, and I was like, yeah, this is great. I want to do my take on it, right? So I've kindly, don't blow away, asked my butcher to debone an entire lamb shoulder and then just run it through the mincer once, coarsely ground, right? So 750 grams, that's half of the lamb shoulder. I took the other half, I'm gonna use it for later. So in here, we want a tablespoon of Maldon sea salt. I've got 2 tablespoons of pul biber, Turkish chili flakes, for that little bit of heat. I've got a tablespoon of freshly toasted cumin. Don't buy powder, it's fucking shit. Buy cumin seeds, toast them, crush them in your pestle and mortar. Better flavour, lets out the oils, blah, 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 blah. In goes the cumin. I like cumin, it tastes like a hard-working Turkish man. It's got that like sweatiness that I quite like. And now, in here, I don't do eggs, I don't do breadcrumb, I don't do any of that shit. I asked for a lamb shoulder mince because I know the fat content's about 70-30, and that's what we're going to use to emulsify our kofte and make it nice and like squishy and delicious, yeah? So those are our dry ingredients into our mix. What we're going to do is we're going to add wet, and wet by the means of this beautiful white onion, right? So on the smaller side of the grater, actually no, on the bigger side of the grater, I'm going to grate this onion. And now this is just because we want the onion to flavour the mix. You don't want to bite into chunks of onion in a kofte, you just want it to be there, give it the flavour, and not be known, right? And this also, by grating it, means that we can squeeze the juice out. We don't want the water from our onion in the kofte, we just want the flesh, right, for flavour. Now, if you've got a food processor, you can do this in a food processor with a grater attachment, but we're going to go old school on a grater and just smash it out. Now, you can see here, we've got like all this pissy onion water. The reason we want to get rid of the liquid is we want the fat and the meat to emulsify and almost mix together like a sausage meat so that the fat runs consistently, so that we've got like that nice squish, allows us to like flavor our bread and all that other delicious stuff. So we want to keep it quite dry, right? So I'm going to fuck this off. And then just give this little bit of onion a squeeze. Now, doesn't have to be bone dry or anything like that. Just want to get the excess moisture out, yeah? And you'll end up with something like this. It's just like nice grated onion. We can go into our kofte. So next we're going to go in with 6 cloves of garlic, right? And I'm just going to grate them again, not on the grater, but using a microplane, because I want the garlic again to disappear. I don't want a little chunk of garlic while I eat it. So I'm just going to grate this garlic in. And then we're going to go in with black pepper. I want to go quite generous on the black pepper because although we've got heat from pul biber, I still want it to be seasoned with black pepper for that little different characteristic of heat, right? So freshly cracked. Now, you can put absolutely anything you want in a kofte, right? I've just given you what I feel is the best way to get the mix right, which is lamb shoulder, give it to your butcher, mince it, works every time, yeah? So a lot of Turkish mums use little packets of like Knorr seasoning that are made for kofte. Pretty much the same ingredients, but with like additives and like fucking, I was reading the back of it and there's yeast in it, and I don't know why there's yeast in it. This for me is like the bog standard, that every day I've got all these ingredients, I've got some nice lamb mince, I'm just gonna make a quick kofte. We're making a sandwich, but by all means, just cook them on the barbecue and eat them as is over like rice with a little salad. But for me, I've not eaten breakfast yet. I've got some really nice bread. Why not have a kofta sandwich, right? So the most important thing is now is we don't just want to mix it and be like, oh yeah, it's mixed. We want to mix it dramatically and drastically. We want to mix it for like 15 minutes, right? We want the heat from our hands to spread the fat around the lamb and help it emulsify, right? So, hands in, and we're just gonna fucking mix the living shit out of it, yeah? Now, as I'm not pretending my hand's a mixer, right? I'm in the meat and I'm squeezing. So look, I'm squeezing. This helps distribute all the flavors that we've put into it. That's gonna make the garlic spread, the onion spread, the pul biber, the cumin, the salt and the pepper, right? And you want to just keep mixing until it starts to change. When we started, it was like you can see here, it's fat meat, fat meat, fat meat. It still looks like ground lamb, right? But the more you mix it, the more it changes. So it's not about banging ingredients into it, mixing it once and hoping for the best. There's little triggers, there's little techniques, there's little tips. The fat's gonna help everything come together, emulsify, stay juicy. It's also gonna give us an opportunity to create smoke on the barbecue, which is gonna give us more flavor, right? So, I'm doing this on camera. I don't have to mix for 15 minutes, innit? I made this yesterday, right? By all means, marinate overnight. If not, up to an hour, mix it, set it in the fridge, and then pull it back out. By the power of editing, I'm gonna pull out one that I made yesterday. So after 15 minutes of mixing, you're gonna get to a point where you mix. There's still bits of fat through it, but the major bits of fat are broken down. They've moved into the meat. Everything's sat together nicely in the fridge overnight. And we've created like this, I'd say meatball consistency. If you look at the way a burger cooks, when you bite into a burger and it falls apart, it's because it's only been ground once, right? You've still got chunks of beef, whereas we want this to like be consistent all the way through and mixed together so that we don't feel like we're eating a bit of fat then a bit of lamb. We want it to be one consistent mouthfeel, like a sausage, yeah? So, this sat in the fridge overnight. It's taken on some color, that's just oxidization. The key to shaping a kofte is we need wet hands, right? So look, this is where the fat's emulsified and it's stuck all to my hands, right? We need to create a barrier in order for us to take a piece of meat and mold it into the shape we want. Now, traditionally in Cyprus, they're served flat. In like Istanbul and in throughout Turkey, they're served in like a poo shape, yeah? We're going for flat ones. So I'm just gonna wet my hands. I'm gonna take up a bit of my mix and I'm just gonna squash it through my hands, right? Again, like that. And then all I'm gonna do is pat it out. They don't have to be like beautifully circular or anything, but that, my friend, is kofte or kofta. It's kofte, yeah? When you order a kofte in a kebab shop, say kofte, and the kebab man's gonna be like, oh, I'll give him one extra, you know how to say it, yeah? So, I'm gonna shape a few of these. Now, I want about 10 because I'm gonna feed me, George, and a friend of mine. We're all gonna have a little sandwich for breakfast, right? So I'm gonna make 10 of these. And now this is for me is just like Turkish mum cooking, man. These are the kind of things that we grew up on as kids, where you'd come home and your mum would be making like little patties and frying them off, and we just eat them with rice and salad. But everything's better in bread, isn't it? So I'm wetting my hands in between each one to create that barrier, which means I can almost ball it. And then from balling, I'm just gonna push it down with 3 fingers and then just like tuck the sides in to give it that circular shape. And we'll do the same on the other side. Now you can go really flat on these, but where we're going on the barbecue, I don't wanna go too flat so they stick. Almost spaceship shape, yeah? I've got 7, that's enough to make a sandwich. Now, I'm just gonna show you quickly, if you wanna do poo-shaped kofta, yeah? Wet my hands, and now all I'm gonna do is roll it in between my hands like this. So every time I roll, I'm giving it a little squeeze, just to like straighten it out almost. And there you have one turdi kofta, poo shape. So traditionally they're cooked on the grill in Turkey, but the grill's got smaller bars in between it, so the kofta can sit in between each grill. I don't have that. I've got just a bog standard normal grill over charcoal, so I'm going burger size, little burger. But if you want to do little poo ones, little poo ones. If you're doing this at home and you don't have a barbecue, you can fry these. Be careful because they've got a high fat content. So hot pan, olive oil, in with your kofta, then drop the heat to low, and you want them to like render the fat out so they cook in that fat. The fat's then gonna flavor your oil and then just like reintroduce flavor into your kofta. I'd say cook it over barbecue, completely different texture, completely different flavor. You get the smoky profiles. And we're gonna do a few tricks, like we're gonna warm our bread on the barbecue, we're gonna rest the kofta in the bread. That you don't get that shit with cooking in a pan, right? So enough jibber jabber. We're gonna go over to the barbecue and we're gonna cook these motherfuckers, yeah? I'm also gonna wash my hands. Sick. Can't really wash your hands in cold water when it comes to fat, but got to do what I got to do. Hello, we're at the barbecue now. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the top of these, just to know that we're not gonna make them stick, right? Just gonna give them a little smear in the olive oil, right? This is also, if our temperature of our barbecue is not right, the oil will drop down and create flames, which means that they won't stick, yeah? So, I know we've added salt to our mix. I just want to add a little sprinkling, yeah? Little. Just like from a height. So each bit gets a little bit of salt. I just want to like that look. I don't want to under-season kofta, do you know what I mean? So now, from here, onto grill. Grill's at about a 4 count, yeah? We want to cook these nice and slow. We want to render the fat out, create smoke, build flavour, and just let them do their thing. And instantly you can smell cumin in the air, they smell delicious. I must admit they're not very pretty. Those are gently going to cook. We're going to flip them every 2 to 3 minutes. We want to build the flavour gradually, but we also want to allow this smoke. You see this smoke? That's what makes it different. So we want to build this smoke and this flavour consistently throughout. Now, my bread's out the oven. Let's talk about garnish. Meet me at the table. Right, so I've been to Yasha Halim, which is a little Turkish bakery in Green Lanes, to get like what is a Turkish sandwich bread. Sandwich spelled S-A-N-D-V-U-C, sandwich, yeah? Or we call them toast, which is T-O-S-T, which is a toasty. Get yourself some of this nice sandwich bread, or use a baguette, or use whatever the fuck you can get your hands on. I quite like something that's crispy. Oh yeah. Crispy on the outside, but like soft and doughy in the middle. The doughiness is gonna soak up all those juices in our kofta, right? So, 2 baguettes. Let's talk about garnish. Now, gonna do like a little simple salad, right? This is how they're served normally. Just gonna do half a white onion. You want to be able to see your knife through it. That's how thin you want it, right? Nice thinly sliced. Push this onion to one side. Onion and parsley salad is used a lot through Turkish cooking, right? So I'm just gonna pick some parsley. This is definitely gonna fucking blow away, but just gonna roughly pick some parsley, stalks and all, we're not anal. And I'm just gonna run this through my onion. I quite like it parsley heavy. So I'd say this was like, maybe 60-40. Just gonna hit it with a tiny bit of salt, yeah? Just a tiny bit of salt. We wanna know it's there, we wanna know it's seasoned, we wanna bring it to the forefront of the sandwich, so we need to hit it with a little bit of salt, right? Done. Onion parsley salad, yeah? Now, we've got like deep, garlicky, onion, cumin, pul biber spiciness from our koftes. We want something that's gonna give us a little bit of wet, right? Tomato, yeah? Just gonna cut this tomato, it's like casual rounds like you would with a normal sandwich. Tomato. We're slowly building. We're also, if you look how juicy these are, that's just from fat content. That's what's creating the smoke. You need that fat content. Otherwise, they're gonna be dry and fucking crumble when you eat them, and they're fucking shit. Use all of the fat, cuz, yeah? Don't have to eat this every day of the week, but like, a little bit of lamb fat never hurt anyone, bro. Okay, let them do their thing. The main ingredient, the one thing that I need you all to go and buy is muhammara, yeah? This is a roasted red pepper, like relish almost. It's got like walnuts, breadcrumbs, cumin, pul biber. It's got all the same characteristics as our kofte, but it's got a little touch of sweetness and a bit of fire, right? So, I would show you how to make this, but I'm contractually tied not to, so go and buy it until a certain date, and then I'll show you, right? I'm gonna split my baguette. Ah, nice baguette. This has been warming through in the oven, right? But now what I want to do is I want to make a little cut like this, yeah? I just want to make a little incision. I'm going to do it to both of them. And I'm just going to get these back onto the grill. Now I want the bread to pick up the smoky tones, right? And any bits of like fat that are on top of the kofte, the bread's going to soak up in it. So we're just going to give this a little break. I don't want to break through. I fucking hate when you make a sandwich and it breaks through. This is a pocket to fill, yeah? This is a pocket of goodness. I don't want to have to eat my sandwich that way so that I don't drop shit. I want to be able to like fucking shovel it in, you get me? So make a little incision, pop them over to the grill. Just gonna try and keep them open and just leave them over our kofte. Now, the smoke that we're creating is gonna travel through the middle of the bread, right? And give us a smokiness on our bread. And also just start to warm it through, yeah? So the koftes, I'd say, have been cooking for about 10 minutes. And I know we're near enough there. I've got a nice bounce. I can feel that they're not raw. They're still creating smoke, so they're still bleeding flavor. Yum. Look at that, man. Flip them the last time, right? Bread back on. We're gonna give them a minute. I can feel my bread slowly starting to crisp in the middle, and I don't want to go too far in it. I still want the doughiness to soak up all of our flavors, right? So give them one last minute. I'd say about 10 minutes in total. Yum. So I've only got enough kofte for one sandwich, yeah? Gonna leave that to one side. I'm gonna cook more after. Gonna take this bit of bread, look. Nice little bit of colour on our edge, yeah? It's warm in the middle. Now, I'm just gonna add some of this muhammara. Just a good smear, yeah? Just like so. And then, I'm gonna rest the koftes in the bread, right? And now by doing this, watch, we should get a nice squash. You should see all the fat seep into this side of the bread. You see all of this? This is all flavour from the kofta, right? Give it a good squash. Yeah? Imagine if a guy in Subway did that as your sandwich, you'd be vexed. Right, table, let's go. Look at that glistening in the sun, cuz. Welcome to Subway. Now, let's garnish, right? So, I'm gonna go tomato. And I want tomatoes like enough for each bite. Do you know what I mean? This is our liquid, this is our wet. I'm gonna, a little bit of season for our tomatoes, yeah? I'm gonna go in onions and parsley. And now this whole thing is quite rich and deep, right? We've got fattiness from the lamb, we've got the sweetness and like the fucking vibrancy of the muhammara. I know we've got tomatoes, but we need something that's gonna go, and lift the whole thing to like motherfucking, yes please, give me 3 more. So that's gonna come with a way of lemon. That was a quarter. I'm gonna go 1 more quarter because I know it's quite a big boy sandwich, right? And the acidity is just gonna help cut through all of the fucking richness, yeah? Right, so all I want to do at this point is I just want to make sure that everything goes into our sandwich, right? Just make sure everything's in. And then now, I just want to give it a fucking nice press. And then we're going to cut it down the middle. Sandwich. S-A-N-D-V-U-C. Sandwich. If I squash it, yeah, you see this? That's like tomato, that's fucking lamb fat, that's everything all soaking into my bread, yeah? And then from here, this just goes into the hatch. Thank you. Listen, I know it's a fucking sandwich, yeah? But it's a good one. The muhammara, right? There's a sweetness that brings out the flavour of the kofte. The clean acid from like the lemon just brings everything up. The tomato, parsley and onions is just a great garnish to eat. And the bread's fucking great. And it's just a fucking good sandwich, man. Just is what it is. If you're feeling adventurous, buy yourself some little Turkish pickles. And then with each bite, oh, again, there's like a level of acidity with these that first cleans your palate and then it's like, haha, I'm hot, motherfucker, deal with it. I want one of these. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. This is for George. Cameraman, man like George, happy fucking breakfast. Make this, promise. I fucking love a banger, are you dumb?